Hey, my name is Lizzie Smiley, and I absolutely love helping people connect with their calling and all the tools they need to kick roadblocks and excuses right out the door so they can cultivate the life they dream about. If you want to launch, grow, pivot, or scale your Etsy shop, or you've always wanted to develop the mindset and skills to run your own business, then I'm your girl. I've had that entrepreneurial spirit going strong since my very first lemonade stand, and now I'm a work-at-home mama with multiple online companies and a full-time Etsy shop, all while being present with my kids for the everyday chaos and most important milestones. On this podcast, we'll talk about all things business, mindset, Etsy, creativity, dazzling our customers, and so much more. There's plenty of room at this table for you, so scooch on in and let's go. I'm holding nothing back. Welcome to How to Sell Your Stuff on Etsy. I'm so glad you're here. Hey guys, welcome back to the show this week. I just got done recording with this guest and I am flying. The energy is this was such a fun, different conversation and I can't wait to introduce you to her. I hope that things are going well. My guess is many kids are back to school. Ours have been now for a couple weeks. Ours are one because the toddler is still just running the household as a toddler does. And or please email me all your best not having your toddler run your household tips. But summer wrapping up, very crazy. It seems like it just started, but I hope everything is going well. And I hope you're getting excited and geared up because this is the time of year that things can really explode and change for you on Etsy. If you haven't opened your shop yet, you need to do it right now, like especially August, September. It is like the push time and you want to be getting all of your listings indexed and ready so that over the next few months as traffic only picks up, that you are poised to enjoy some of it. So today, if you are not feeling fired up or your things haven't quite clicked yet or you need some inspiration, you are in the right place at the right time. I'm also working on some things to help you. So you may have already heard this, but just in case, I want to make sure that you know, I am working on a subscription service that will be for a weekly trend report. So if you become a part of it, you'll get a weekly email from me with a video and explanation and list of what is trending, specific products that you can be creating that are in demand right now and have not been super saturated yet. I'm going to be finding those opportunities for you with my expertise on Etsy. I've just looked at thousands of shops and analyzed tens of thousands of listings. And so I'm hoping I can save you time and also just give you what you really need, which is opportunities. And so let me know. There's going to be a link down in the show notes if you're interested in finding out more about that. You're not going to be added to my main email list. It'll just be like, I'll send you a heads up email to let you know when this service is launching and letting you know what it will involve. And you'll be getting a sample as well. I'm going to send out with that email. Here's an example of what you would be getting every week from me that will save you time and also that you just get the advantage of my expertise. The second thing I'm working on is a coaching call for ultra beginners. So if you are someone who feels like you're excited about Etsy, you want to do it, but you feel like there are some things standing in your way. Maybe tech is a little intimidating. There's parts of Canva you don't get yet. You're worried about setting up your listings right. Things that feel like you don't, you feel embarrassed to even ask and you don't see anyone answering them because to everyone else, it seems like they just get it. It's intuitive. I was like that too. I want you to know I'm not naturally super techie. I have learned. And so I will answer your questions. We'll get together as a group. No bad questions, no embarrassing questions. I'm even going to have a list of things and we'll do a coaching call where you can get some of that tech stuff moved out of the way so that you can move on because I really believe that anyone can do this. Sometimes you just need a little help with the stuff in the beginning. So there'll also be a link down in the show notes for you to go ahead and jump on that list as well. So that housekeeping aside, I can't think of anything else. Let me introduce you to today's guest. It's such a different niche. It's such a different expression of how this can work on Etsy. And I just think it's going to unlock things for some of you. So Mel Edwards has been a technician, educator, and technical director for 10 years and counting, and is a graduate of the University of Texas at Austin with a BA in theater and dance, scenic technology. She has worked as a scenic carpenter and cabinet furniture maker before entering education. During the pandemic, she co-created MAB Technical Theater, which provides online technical theater curriculum for both virtual and in-person instruction. Holy cow, that's so cool. Literally every teacher, you need to tell your school tech director that this exists. Every summer, Mel loves working as the production technical director for Tal's Theater Summer Camp. Oh my gosh, we didn't talk about that. An intense 2-week camp hosted at Baylor University. Oh my gosh. She currently designs scenery for local community theaters and high school productions, contract work at universities, and teaches workshops at various conventions throughout the year for theater educators. She has a new podcast called Behind the Plaster Line, which features technical theater topics, digital courses, and resources for theater community members looking to learn more about technical theater. While she prides herself on being a maker and is able to create almost anything, her main hustle and passion is her online shop, Mighty with All Trades, which celebrates the technicians who make theater happen by representing their trades with love and pride. So we are going to hear her Etsy story turned Shopify brand, and her really brilliant, thoughtful insights about understanding your audience and really, have you heard me say this before, micro niching down to serve such a special particular group that it helps your sales explode and serve an underserved group on Etsy. So with all of that, please help me welcome Mel to the podcast. Hey, Mel, welcome to the podcast.
Hi, how are you? Thank you for having me.
Oh, I'm ecstatic. Thank you for filling out the application because we've never begun to touch your niche, and I'm super excited for you to share. So thank you. You have to start by telling us your background, your Etsy story, how you got to where you are today, because it's, like I said, uncharted territory here on the show.
Yeah, sure. I used to be a teacher, and I taught specifically technical theater. And so for those of you that don't know what technical theater is, it's the backstage stuff, like the costumes, the sets, the makeup, the props, and all that stuff, everything that is not acting. And so I did that for about 10 years, and I really loved it. But the weird part, I guess, of the story of me becoming an educator is I fell into education because I started off college doing pre-vet. So I wanted to be a veterinarian. Yeah, I wanted to be a veterinarian, and I took all these courses my first 3 years of college, and then every year I had a different college advisor. And my junior year, which is like my third year, I had a different advisor. My advisor was just like, "Hey, you've taken all these courses. When are you going to pick a major?" Because I was undeclared for like the first 3 years. And then I was like, what? He's like, "Yeah, you need to pick a major because that's how graduate school works. Like you graduate with a degree and then you apply to graduate school, and veterinary school is a graduate school." And I was like, I didn't know this, because my mom, she has an associate's degree as a registered nurse, right? When it used to be 2 years. Right. So it was a very long time ago. But like nobody ever told me that that's how graduate school worked. So I was like, okay, so I looked at all my prerequisites, and then they were like, you're going to take another like 4 years to graduate with something like biology or physics or chemistry, anything in the science realm, right? And I was like, well, I can't be here for another 4 years. Like, what am I supposed to do? And at the time, I was working at the Performing Arts Center on campus because I got that job because I knew how to use power tools. When I took ag in high school to be a vet, I took ag and I learned how to build picnic tables and barbecue pits and all kinds of things.
Wait, where did you grow up? I need to know. I have to stop you. Where did you grow up?
I grew up in South Texas.
Where?
Like Roma, Texas is my hometown. It's
okay.
It's right on the border of Texas and Mexico.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's about yeah. And so that's where I grew up. And
where are you now?
You're
in Austin?
I'm in Gerald. Yeah, it's like north of Austin. It's about
neighbor.
I would say about 30 minutes.
Okay.
40 minutes from Austin.
I was trying to draw the line. I was like, it's got to be Texas because we got to draw the line from ag to building tables to veterinary school to theater. I had to get some cobwebs figured out there. Okay, keep going. Well,
yeah, it's kind of it's a wild like pre-journey. And so I got the job at the Performing Arts Center, and I did that for like 3 years, and I just built scenery or whatever they needed me to do. It was just a work study job. Well, after the advisor thing, I went to work, and I was just like, I don't know what to do. And my master carpenter, who is now the shop foreman there, and he's like the operation of directors now there, he was like, well, why don't you do like this for a living? And I was like, well, what's this? He's like, just building things. Like, you're pretty good at it and you seem to like it. And I was like, I actually really do like it. And I didn't know that I could do this as a career. And he's like, yeah. So I like changed course completely, changed major, changed college. Like I went from the College of Science, right, to the College of Fine Arts. And so I changed my major, graduated with a year and a year and a half after that. My advisor there for the fine arts, she was just like, you've taken so many courses. She goes, you literally can just take theater courses the next 2 years and then you're done. And I was like, awesome. So no more maths, no nothing. Yeah. So, and I really just had a blast, like my last year and a half or 2 years. And once I graduated, I got a job in DC and I worked at a theater there as a carpenter. So I did that for a while. I missed my hometown. I missed my family because they all still lived in Texas. And so I came back and I wanted to stay in Austin, but Austin's not a really good city for carpentry. Like it's good for live music and for lighting and sound people, not necessarily scenic people. So I ended up getting a job building cabinets and furniture, high-end cabinets and furniture. And so I did that for a while.
You guys, if you could see her, if you're watching on YouTube, she is young. I'm like, you've lived 7 lives already.
Yeah. And then after that, I was dating my husband, and he was like, you're not even using your degree. You should use it for something. You're building cabinets and furniture. So I was like, okay. So he's like, why don't you look into teaching? And I was like, oh, I could probably do that. I just don't want to teach acting. I don't know anything about acting. And so at the time, when I graduated, technical theater in high schools wasn't really a thing. It was still one director doing all the things, and they didn't really have like a dedicated tech person. But throughout the years, tech programs or theater programs started hiring like a second director, and that second director was a tech director that would just do the technical elements. So I was like, oh, this is cool. I could totally do this. So I applied to one job and I got it. And I stayed at that school for 6 years. And I started the program there because they didn't have one before me. So I started that program. And then at about the 6-year mark, I was like, I think it's time for a change. And so I moved to another school and I stayed at that other school for 4 years. And then when I was at the second school, that's when I kind of really started my Etsy shop at that point. And then I stayed there for 4 years. And then I left last year in 2003 or whatever, May 2003. So I'm kind of like almost been 2 years, I guess, or whatever the math is. So I've been out of school officially for a year and I've been doing it full time for like a year. Yeah. So that's my journey from veterinary school to technical theater to teaching to now Etsy or
I didn't see that all coming at all. So tell us, like, where is okay, when did your Etsy shop launch? Is that what you were saying was May 2003, or was that a job? I got confused there.
No. So I started my Etsy shop in 2019.
That's right. Okay.
Is when I started it. When I started the new school. And so I had it, but I didn't really do a whole lot. When I transitioned from one school to the other, I was like, I really want to open an Etsy shop, but I don't really know what to make. Like, I have no idea what to sell, what to do. Like, I just know I want to make something. And then when I started at that school, I was like, oh, I could probably I started with planner stickers because
oh my gosh,
I had some friends that were like big into planning. I was not like, I was not. So I was like out of my element, but I was like, I could probably make some theater planner stickers. So I made some theater themed planner stickers that just had like rehearsal, auditions, things like that they could just put, right? And then some of them, the word stickers did really well, but the graphic stickers didn't do so well. And they were like funny. Like I had one that was a unicorn that just said, conquering the world one cue at a time, or controlling the world one cue at a time. Right. And it was a tiny little plain sticker. So I did that. Right. And then I said, you know what, maybe I can make these into like bigger stickers. So I got rid of the planner stickers and I made them into like big water bottle decal stickers that were like, and so that's when they really started selling, when they were like just single stickers. And so that's what that was. And then the pandemic, of course, hit, during like 2020, we started off the year virtually. I didn't do a whole lot of sales my first year. Yeah, I didn't do a whole lot of sales my first year because, again, like I was trying to figure out what I wanted to sell and all this stuff. But in 2020, when teachers were forced to go back and teach virtually or teach like a hybrid of virtual kids and in-person kids, which was crazy to me now that I think about it. But when I did that, I was bored. I was super, super bored because a lot of my job had to deal with productions. Like, but we
Yeah.
weren't putting on any productions. And so, yeah. And so I literally had nothing to do. I would just teach. I would my day started with like, okay, cool. Like, we had a block scheduling. So my classes were 90 minutes. So for the first like 15 minutes, I would lecture. I would tell them like what their thing was, like whatever it was for the day, the project, the lesson, this and this. And I'd be like, all right, guys, I guess, you're off to asynchronous learning is what we called it. And, a lot of teachers stayed with their kids like on Zoom, like the
Okay.
whole 90 minutes and just watched them work essentially. I did not like that. And we were given the option. So I was like, I'm going to leave it up to you to do your work. Like, I don't care how you spend your day as long as you do your work. Cause I was like, again, the pandemic, whatever. Right. So, I would lecture for like 15 minutes and then I would log off. And then I was like, cool, now what do I do? Like, I had nothing to do, like literally nothing. The kids, I had maybe like 3 kids in front of me, like doing the work. And I was like, okay. So then I just started making more designs on my computer.
No
Right. I've always
way.
made,
Okay. Yeah.
yeah,
That makes so much sense.
yeah, I've always made posters. Like I made posters for our productions. And so I was really good at Illustrator. And so I just would start making designs and then we had an assistant director. And so we shared the same room. So she was kind of like next to me the whole time. And then we were just bouncing off ideas. And then that's when I started making buttons. So I started making these things called Tech Crew Mary Badges. And so they started off just as rewards for for my crew kids that I could give them at the end of the show or an opening night or whatever. Because, when you're making things, especially for theater, sometimes you have to celebrate the small wins. Or
Yes.
sometimes you celebrate the mistakes too. Like, it's just funny. Like, kids work and when you're painting things, right? Like, people work really hard to not get paint on their clothes. And then when you get paint on your clothes, you're like, oh my God. And it's like this thing, right? Like, I worked so hard to not get paint, right? So I made a button called Officially Ruined by Paint. So just funny buttons like that. And I just created like a whole line, maybe like about 25 different designs. And I bought a button machine and started making buttons. But yeah, like that first year, 2020 is really when, again, a lot of my designs just kind of happened because I was bored. I was bored. We weren't, like I said, we weren't allowed to do productions. So I literally had nothing to do except teach during the day.
When did you get your first sale? Can you remember? Like, did it take a while? Was it pretty quick?
I did get it. I got my first sale in 2019. I think after having my shop open for about 2-3 months, I made my first sale, and I was like, "This is cool. This is exciting." And then, yeah. And when I talk, my husband is not a theater person,
Okay.
and when I told him like I want to do these things, he was like, "That's dumb," and I was like, "Why is it
Oh,
dumb?" He's like, "Nobody wants to buy theater things," and I was like, "No, I'm gonna prove you wrong," and it did. Like,
yeah,
people
that's so
started
niche.
buying.
It's so good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And now he's like, I mean, he's on board, but now he's you know, we've talked about scaling, like how to scale and make more this business. And so he is worried, I guess, that, maybe my niche is too small.
Yeah, it
And
probably you could grow it. Yeah, you could expand it.
yeah, yeah, I think so. And so then I ended up actually opened up a second Etsy shop. And my second one is just, it's because I like to, not to toot my own horn, but I like to tell people I can make anything. Like, I'm
Mhm.
super creative and I
That's probably
use a
very
lot
true.
of,
You literally work with power tools. I have a lot of faith in what
yeah,
you do.
yeah. And so my second Etsy shop is actually like a shop where I'm just making things to celebrate moments. So like I'm making spirit buttons like for football and sports and things like that.
Cool.
Decorating Easter bunny, personalizing Easter bunnies. I'm trying to think what else is. I've got some Halloween tote bags, Christmas tote bag. It's just it's kind of a catch-all, but it's really just some stuff to celebrate moments. Like, that's really what I'm kind of designating that other shop for.
You're
So it's
giving
not
yourself
my
a
main
chance to
shop.
be more broad, which I think that's really clever. Like you've already figured out how to make Etsy work. I think that's really clever. So your original, the tech shop, how many sales are you at now?
Oh, sales. I have to look. I looked up like money. But I think right now I'm at 3,155 sales,
Yes, that's
and I
awesome.
have
And then,
about
yeah, go
I
ahead.
have 206 listings and
Okay.
growing.
That's honestly so good too. And so what are you kind of bringing in month wise, or what do you want to share on that? I know you said you'd written down
Well,
some.
yeah. So my first year in 2019, like my set revenue was $653,
Which,
which
okay,
again is just my
not
first year.
bad for a first year trying, not really taking it seriously. Yeah.
Yeah, and then my second year in 2020 during the pandemic, it jumped to $3,000, like over $3,000. And then in 2021 is where we had like a normal school year. And so that jumped from 3,600 to 8,300. And
Dude.
then yeah, and then it's kind of been like over 8 ever since. And right now I'm at 4, which is like a lot lower than my 8,000 from last year. But I do 3 in-person conventions towards the end of the year. So I do
Yeah.
one of them is coming up. One of them is coming up in September that I have a booth for, and then the other 2 are in November. And so those are the ones that kind of make up a lot of my bulk. But my website orders, because on my website, my first year in 2021 is when I opened a Shopify, and that
Okay.
I only had $200 come through. But right now on my Shopify website, I'm at 16,700.
What? For the
Yeah.
year?
So for the year right now, yeah,
Mel,
because my
okay,
website.
you did not disclose this ahead of time. I have so many questions. Keep going. I cut you off because I'm excited.
No, that's okay. So Etsy, right? It started off at 653, 3,600, and now like 8,000, right? But my Shopify started off at 200, then it was 2,700 the next year, and then 13,000 the next year, and then 16,000 is where I'm at right now
So
for
you're
it.
at 20K
But
for the year from your business, is what you're telling me. And it's August. You
yes,
haven't even hit Q4 yet. Okay, I'm throwing out all
no.
the rest of those questions that I asked you for this interview, and we're changing course completely. Oh my gosh, good job.
Thanks. I'm really proud of it because I
You
never
should
thought.
be. I'm really proud.
I never thought like I don't really look at my numbers every day or every week or whatever. I try and look at them like maybe every quarter, like I'm just like doing the thing. Like it's just selling, it's doing the thing. Because if I look, it's like when you're trying to lose weight, right? Like if you keep looking at your weight
Scale.
loss numbers, just the scale, right? Like you get discouraged and stuff. But if you look at it like maybe every month or whatever, like it looks better. Like if you feel better about the changes. So it's I kind of look at it that way. I don't look at my numbers like every day because some days I have 5 sales, some days I have no sales, some days I'll have like maybe $8 sales, but then other days I'll have like $100. You know what I mean? So I just look at it as like a whole number and not daily. But yeah.
Hey guys, today's episode is sponsored by Profit Tree, which is a new and incredible tool that will massively help your Etsy shop grow. My friend and fellow Etsy coach, Hannah Gardner, she's been on the podcast and you may know her from her massive, incredible YouTube channel, Ecom Hannah, highly recommend. She's a 7-figure seller who's obsessed with data tracking. This is like her superpower. I love it. Profit Tree is a service that's going to seamlessly integrate with your Etsy shop to give you automated, real-time profit tracking for your store. So for the first time ever, you can now obtain meaningful, actionable insights on core metrics of your Etsy shop. No more Excel sheets, VLOOKUPs, I don't even know what that is, or exporting reports. Y'all have been asking for this, and Hannah and her team have over-delivered. This is like one of those new tools that I'm so stinking excited about. With Profit Tree, you can spend less time playing catch up and more time growing your shop. So the integration will allow you to easily import and track your business expenses and product costs, which means that you can maximize sales of each item in your collection by seeing the true profit breakdowns in the blink of an eye. Forget about hours of manual work to only get outdated data. No kidding. Not to mention if you're like me and you don't even try because the numbers make your eyes bleed. So embarrassing, but it's true. But Profit Tree is going to do the work for you so you can get clear insights of all of your unique product variations, which is so helpful. Additional features to Profit Tree include real-time calculations, low stock alerts, one-click print-on-demand integrations, trend spot your product, that's helpful, track duplicated products so you can see which one's doing better and why, add custom expenses, optimize listings profitability, and identify listing issues like missing SKUs and COGS. Right now, when you sign up, you can start with a 7-day free trial and make sure to use code TREE10, TREE 10, to save 10% on your membership. And as someone who knows how important the tracking piece is, you guys, but I don't feel like it's a strength of mine in that area, I am so super excited about this service because it's going to take the piece off of my plate that I'm not good at, but still give me the benefit of having that work done. Super stoked. So check it out. Start gathering the best possible data for your shop, for your listings, and it's going to help you grow and scale your business. So thank you so much, Hannah and Profit Tree. You guys are lifesavers. Okay, I want to talk right now about how you drive traffic to your Shopify. Please?
That's a really good question. So I think I've worked a lot on my SEO and I'm still working on it. But if you type in certain things, I come up pretty good. Like technical theater, is such a small niche that there's not a whole lot of, I don't want to say there's a whole lot of competition because there is, but the competition that's out there is super generic. And also one of the things that helps me to drive traffic to my shop is that, there are some things that I list in my Shopify that are not on Etsy. And a lot of my big orders, like my big school orders, come through my website.
Okay.
That, and also I teach in-person workshops at these conventions, and I tell them about my booth or tell them about my shop. I have booths what I sell in person, and so they know about the booth. I have social media, so my hashtags on my Instagram, but also because I'm really good at my job. I'm really good at being a technical director. I've built turntables for Les Mis, and I taught myself how to code Arduino to make a remote control rose for Beauty and the Beast for when I've done all of these things. And so I'm well known within our own theater education community. And so when people know who I am, and when I comment on things and they ask me for questions, and I'm doing all these things. And so I guess those kinds of external events and things that I contribute, people are like, oh, did you know that she has a shop too? And then they'll send people to my shop. So it's kind of it's a lot of ways I am involved, because I'm involved in my community. There's a lot of ways that drive things to my shop.
I want every single person to note along with me that she has not mentioned social media once. This is what's so cool about a niche though. And I'm genuinely rethinking what your husband and I were initially thinking about it being too small. I feel like if you got on TikTok and you really pushed your podcast with SEO and on YouTube, you probably, I don't know. I think you should play with other stuff too, just because you're brilliant, but oh my gosh, there's still untapped potential there. And you're already coming up at the top of search. What? Who does that happen to? The unicorn.
Yeah. If you, and that's the thing, if you type in technical theater curriculum, my hit is number 2, on Google, because I sell technical theater curriculum. And so, it's on a blog post, in my website. So you click it, it takes you to my website. And then that's an outside endeavor. So then you read the blog, and then it takes you to the curriculum website, right? If you type in, I offer drafting services, AutoCAD drafting services, for scenery, not design services. I have a lot of director friends that are I need a hexagon 3-tiered platform. I don't know how to cut that. I can't do math. So cool. So I'll draft it for them and make them blueprints essentially. So if you type in drafting services, or theater drafting services, I think I'm the number 2 or number 3 hit or something. Yeah, it's so it's just because my website has so many things in it, everything will lead back to my website. And then my social media.
Buying in bulk though? You mentioned that you'll get bigger orders. What are they buying in bulk?
So there's a couple things that they're buying in bulk. I make these scale model thing. So let me see if I can find one real quick. I think I got some pieces.
I cannot believe how many lives you have lived.
Yeah.
Also, her t-shirt says, she's wearing a tank top, you guys, if you can't see. It says, because theater nerds need theater things. And it's her tagline. I'm killing time while you're finding the thing. But also, like, that was so fun. Like, it's so cute.
So I make these scale models. So in Texas, there's a competition called UIL When I Play. And a couple years ago, they started making mini scale versions of the set pieces that we use in this competition. And so I have a 3D printer. You can see my 3D printers in the back. I have 3 of them. And I started making these scale models, and they're just like building blocks that come in different sizes. Like, these are stairs. And so I make like these little kits, and it's got 32 pieces in them, and then I just print them. And so a lot of schools buy like enough for class sets. They buy like 24, 6s, 12s, like in big sets for their schools, and they use school money. So they use purchase orders. And so they do that. That's one of the big bulk orders. Another big bulk order is these. They're forever tickets. So when you graduate, there's a lot of schools. Oh my God, I can't get it off the hook. Okay. They're just like little keychains that just have forever tickets for like your seniors, like when they graduate, and you can give it to them and they can come back and watch shows forever, like when they come back. And so those are sublimation. So I sublimate those myself. So I get orders, and they're like 20s, 30s, 50s, like however many seniors I have that are graduating that year. I also make like things that are buttons, my buttons, because there's always never one crew person on your production. And so teachers will buy multiple buttons for all of their crew kids. Like, I personally used to have anywhere from maybe 25 to 35 crew kids on my crew per production. So like, those are, quite a bit of buttons or stickers, so those are like my big orders. And the only reason why I do them through my website and not Etsy is because through my website, I can do non-tax. They can, if they buy through school money, I have a little bit more flexibility to do custom orders than I do with Etsy. So that's why those are the big orders that come
Are you
through.
on Teachers Paying Teachers or whatever? Is that what it's called?
Yes, I am not on Teachers Pay Teachers.
I wonder if that would be another one.
Well, no, I'm not on there because I already have my own curriculum. So MAB is the name of our technical theater curriculum, and I co-created it with 2 other friends of mine or co-teachers of mine. And so we sell that, and that's like a full year's worth of technical theater curriculum. And so we just sell that ourselves. Yeah. It's great for in-person learning and virtual learning because it's Google Suites based. So like, I used it in my classroom for like because we created it during the pandemic. When the pandemic hit, we were like, how do you teach technical theater online?
Yes.
It's so hard. So we put all of our lessons together. And so we created this curriculum that's like a whole year's worth. It's got teacher versions, quizzes, student templates, like it's got everything. And so that's why we don't sell on Teachers Pay Teachers, only because we sell it as a whole package and not as individual lessons.
Okay. Oh, interesting. I guess I didn't understand what Teachers Pay Teachers is, which maybe this is actually helpful for people who are listening who are teachers who wondered. I thought it was sort of like an Etsy, but for teachers, where you can sell other stuff too.
Yeah, you can sell, you mostly sell lessons, like lessons, handouts, quizzes, presentations, things like that. But I think we just wanted to, when we first did it, we just wanted to sell it under our own brand, I guess, and not.
Yes, good job.
Yeah. And so that's why we decided to just make our own it was a free Google website that had all of the information in it. And then when we first started selling it, we just used like Google Drive. We just took Square payments. We made note of all of, the tax stuff that we had to do, whatever. But we did that, and we've sold many, many copies, including some Canadians Some universities have bought the curriculum for their introductory like tech students, community colleges and stuff. So it's been kind of cool. And like it's still selling right now, I mean, it's it's on now, it's an automated process. So before it was not automated because we were trying to figure it out, but now it's automated. So they'll go to the website, they'll click it, and it's actually fulfilled through my Shopify website. So I don't have to like manually send them anything, so that's that. But yeah, that's the curriculum.
Beautiful thing, isn't it? It's so nice when it's all just takes care of itself. The setup, not fun, but yeah. So I have a question for you. Can I be your coach? Since 2012, I've been working with business owners in all different walks of life and helping them figure out how to grow their businesses, develop themselves, work through fears and challenges, launch a new idea, or create a very fresh vision for their life. One of my core strengths is generating ideas and casting vision on a project, and I would just love to do that for you. Whether you need coaching for your Etsy shop or a completely different business project, I'm here to partner with you for breakthrough and brainstorm brilliant strategies with you. My experience in everything from corporate America to network marketing to consulting, web design, blogging, Etsy, Shopify, social media management, and now course creation and podcasting has given me quite the breadth of knowledge to help my fellow entrepreneur. And I would be totally delighted to work with you. You can book a coaching session over at howtosellyourstuff.com or shoot me an email at lizziesmiley@yahoo.com and we'll find out if we'd be a good fit. I cannot wait to meet you and hear what you're dreaming about. So I know what you're really passionate about, and I want to make sure we have plenty of time to talk about it. I know you're really passionate about how you pick the products that you're going to sell and really serving your audience. So tell us about that, your thoughts, and also just like, why you think it's important for Etsy sellers to consider.
Well, I think the way that I create products is I'm on Etsy a lot, like just browsing, not just stuff for myself. I like to just see like trending things. I'm also on social media a lot, like just to consume it. So the way that I decide things to sell is I know that my niche is technical theater. So I see a lot of cool things that are trending and I try and figure out how can I turn those things into technical theater things. So like there's an example, I know that on Etsy, I've seen the skeleton that has like a coffee that says dead inside, but caffeinated. And I just think that graphic is so cute. Like, I think it's so cute, right? And so I said, okay, well, how can I make that technical theater? And so I basically redrew a skeleton, but with a communications headset, like a stage manager headset. And it just says dead inside, but ready for tech week or something like that, right? Okay. Because it's true, right? Like it's cute. And so it's just like, I try and find ways to just incorporate other things. So same with holidays. I did one of my graphics that I love. I put it on everything, and every time people see it, they're like, it's so pretty. It's like 3 different stage lights with like a pumpkin and some flowers, and it says Hocus Pocus. So it's it's like Halloween, but it's theater, but it's like super pretty. And so a lot of the things, like for a long time, technical theater elements, swag, accessories, everything's black. Everything's black and white. Like it's like a thing. And a lot of the slogans that are on t-shirts and stuff are kind of corny. Sometimes they're I don't want to say demeaning, but they kind of poke fun at actors or things like that, right? Which is totally fine. But as like a 40-year-old woman, I don't want to wear that. And I just feel like we're so much more than that. Like, so, some corny slogans are like, if all the world's a stage, tech crew must be gods or something like that. And I'm like, that's kind of cringy, I guess. But, again, as a 40-year-old woman, I don't want to wear that. And so I started really just, how can I
She's lying. She can't be 40. It's impossible. She's lying.
I'm actually 39.
No, she looks half that. No, freaking knockout. Okay. Yeah. What is it with all of the cheese?
I don't know. I think
No one's been clever
like
enough.
no one's been clever enough, but I think too, like there's a joke that whenever technicians make stuff for productions, we always say it's actor proof. Actor proof it, because it's true. Like actors, you will spend 2 weeks on a prop and they'll get it for 5 minutes and they'll break it. Right?
Yeah.
Like they'll somehow find a way. So we always say actor proof it. And so there's I think just this connotation of like maybe actors are stupid or
We're
technicians
just
are
distracted. We're just not thinking about the prop. Right?
yeah, and so technicians are mostly they're a little higher thinking people, like they're very smart, they're into like really
Yes.
technical things, right? They're introverts most of the time, and I think the corniness just kind of comes from that, like just
Okay.
to kind of highlight how the stupid things actors do, right? Or the weird things that can happen on stage or backstage. And so we do, like us as technicians, we live for the thrill. Like, I can say when we did a production of Les Mis, and we built this turntable for the barricade, and it's supposed to spin. I didn't have a motor for the turntable, and I literally used children. I used like 30, all my crew kids, all my crew kids like were behind the barricade laying on their stomachs, holding on to like the edge of the turntable. And then when it was time to turn, like the lights were like dark on the back half, right? There was smoke, there was lighting, like all stuff. Like you couldn't see them at all. They literally like kind of sat up and then they would just like hand turn, all of them just hand turned this giant 20-foot turntable. Right. And it's just like, and I took a picture of them like laying on the floor right before the cue happened. And it's one of my favorite pictures. And a lot of students that were in it, they're like, this is my favorite picture because yeah, like we just do weird, funny things like that. And I think, again, I think that's where the corny slogans kind of come from. But again, they're all just black and white and kind of really plain. And so the products that I make are trying to go in a different direction, something that's fun and more colorful, because like we like silly things, but we would just like them to be a little more aesthetically pleasing. And then as far as like me picking what it is, I really just feel like, theater in general is, especially when you talk about an education environment, like the fine arts are always overlooked, but
Mm.
theater is overlooked more than the other fine arts. Like everybody knows band, football, marching band, marching season, blah, 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 right? And then choir, everybody knows what choir does. They sing. It's awesome. They go to choir concerts. But theater is kind of on the lower end of that totem pole. And technical theater isn't even lower on the totem pole because nobody knows what they do. And, their mama always wants to see their baby on stage and not backstage. Like, what are you even doing backstage? So my goal, I think, through this shop is just to kind of give technicians more, like just more swag, like something to be proud of the jobs that they do at any age. It doesn't have to just be high school. It can be like industry professionals too, like, because we chose this career for a reason. And if we want to like put some fun stickers on our water bottle, like we should be able to. So.
Yes, you should. But you've also alluded to such an important, this is why, kind of like the bottom line of what Mel is saying is why there's opportunity and potential for anybody on Etsy who will give it time, fail, get up again, try again, keep researching. It's because there are so many micro niches like this is what I'm constantly telling you guys. She's taken what is trending for everyone else, a skeleton, or I'm sure in some applications you're seeing even the farm animal trend show up in some of this stuff. You're seeing the strawberries, which are super in right now. You're probably seeing what with I don't know if you've done anything with collegiate font, which has been trending, or cowboy theme, which has been trending, or retro fonts. What is the font I'm thinking of? It's like a retro, but it's the mom brand's hitting me. You guys know what I'm talking about. It's everywhere. It's this groovy font. That's what I'm thinking of. So you can take, just like Mel is doing this, and she's taking it and applying it to her micro niche and making $20,000 in 8 months. You can do this for anything, like any you probably every single person listening has some quirky interest, some like thing that they're into that you know what I'm really into? I'm really into loons. Like
Mhm.
we live on a lake for half of the year and I'm obsessed with loons, which if you don't know, it's not like a loony person. It's a massive black and white bird that give this really eerie, like for me, majestic call. And it's so nerdy and weird that I love loons, that it's like my thing. But like I could probably go create an entire line of, I could probably create a 6-figure Etsy shop off of loons. Maybe not, I might have to add a few other weird birds. But the point is, we all have some weird interest. And I'm not saying, Mel, that you are weird at all or that your interest is. My point is, you've picked a micro niche. You've picked something that other people wouldn't pick. You know what I'm saying? So this is great. So, okay. I love it when someone like you proves what I tell everyone all the time. It makes us all so happy. Do you want to, well, I feel like you've already done this. Do you want to expound at all about understanding your customer about, I think you've sort of talked about it like in the sense of we don't want just all black and white. We don't just want all corny, but do you feel like we could put a pin in that topic or did you hit on everything you wanted to say on that?
No, I think, yeah, like, so understanding my customer. So I feel, okay, so everybody talks about like the customer avatar, but I feel like I have more than one. So I have
Okay.
one customer avatar that is the industry professional that wants some cute stickers, like the stage manager on Broadway that wants something to decorate their water bottle with, cool, or the lighting designer at a professional theater, right? Those stickers, right? Or T-shirts or bags or things like that. And then my other avatar is the high schooler that wants things that represent them. Like that's not just theater. That just doesn't just say theater nerd or theater whatever, right? Like
Theater kid.
it's
Yeah.
very specific, because like when you're an actor, you are under one umbrella, right? But when you're a technician, you are a lighting technician, a costume technician, a sound technician, a props technician, a scenic carpenter. Like you are all of these different things. And so getting a shirt that says tech crew, you might not identify with that. But if you get something that says lighting technician, or, you might identify with it better and more likely to buy it. So there's that, to have just basically representation for all of these different, trades, industry trades. And then the other avatar I have is teachers are always trying to find gifts for their students, for banquets, for any kind of celebration, right? Mostly banquet. And so having just things that they can buy to kind of just celebrate their kids. Like, so that's my other. So I have I guess I have three different avatars.
At least because you could really, and this is, guys, listen to this because it seems like it's such a small thing, tech theater, but she's hitting such specific interests for people. Not only do you have the different avatars, but then you've also got like the teacher who needs the curriculum. And I could even say each one of those specialties is an avatar. Your lighting kid, your sound kid, your costume kid, your set kid, your painting kid, your stage manager, your actor wrangler, whatever we're calling those these days. There's just so many. Guys, another application of this. We just think nurse, like, oh, I'm going to create things for nurses. Well, a labor and delivery nurse is extremely different from a home health nurse. Is extremely different from a pediatric nurse. Is extremely different from you get the point. And so like the more we can represent these little finer things, it seems like you go look on Etsy and there's not as many searches for it as there is for nurse, but that's why it's good, because then there's also not as much competition. Okay, I'm sort of done. I'm probably not done. I'll probably rant again. Mel, give us your top tips for people who are looking to get started on Etsy or who are early and they're still waiting for that kind of breakthrough to happen, or even Shopify if you prefer. Your just kind of your big sister lessons for us.
I think the thing that I learned is there is a market for everything. Like there really is.
Yeah.
Because my second shop is, like I said, I have a second shop and that's like celebration things that I just have designs and I just put designs on there and they're kind of fun. But there's a market for everything, like everything. Just do your research. And then what I have found is that if you want to build, it depends what you want to do with your shop. If you want to build a brand, I feel like you need to know your niche. right?
Yes.
Like can't I can't build a brand on nursing things because I don't know anything about nursing. Like I can put some graphics together, but people who are going to be loyal to your brand can basically spot a poser like a mile away,
Yes. Oh,
right?
that's so good. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, and so if you look on Etsy, and this is like a thing, right? If you look on Etsy, you type in theater, right? Theater is spelled two different ways. It's theater, which is TER, which is the place, the actual physical building, and then TRE is the art. And so sometimes I'll see theater mom spelled with an ER, and I'm like, that's a poser. And I'll click on their shop, and it's just some general store of like all of these professions. It's got nursing things and teacher things and military things. Like, so I'm like, okay, cool, right? And so if you don't know your niche, like you got to if you want to build a brand, you just have to know your stuff. You have to be in it. Like is kind of what I have found. And so with tech theater, like I did all these things. Like I know a lot about lighting and sound and costuming and stage managing. So like I can be very specific with my buttons when I make my merit badges because I'm in it, and I've had people email me, and some of my reviews are like, these buttons are so true to like what we do. Like I feel seen. I feel seen with this button. So it's fun. And then the other side of that is if you want to do a general store, that's okay. I would say just that's more, I feel, geared towards things that are trending and popular. And you'll probably be more with the general stores because you're going more on the popular side of what's trending. You'll probably be changing designs more often to kind of go with the trends. So that's the two. Like if you want to, you again, there's a market for everything, but you have to decide, do you want to be a brand or do you want to be a general store?
Or do you want to be both, which Mel has decided to do now, which I think is great because I think then you can play. Like we all have to kind of test. You guys, there is no shame in testing and trying. I can't tell you how many times you just have to be willing to fail. And here's the thing, you actually can't fail. You just have to be willing to play. I think those are brilliant suggestions. Thank you. Mel, where are the best places for people to find you and connect?
My online shop is mightywithalltrades.com. And if you're interested in all my other links and all my other projects, if you go to melmakesstuff.net, that has all of my links to my podcast, my YouTube, my TikTok, my curriculum, my online professional portfolio. Like it's just got everything on it. So Mighty with All Trades is the website, and Mel Makes Stuff is my other links and projects.
Okay. And you sent those to me earlier too, right? I'll have those with your bio, I think. Is that true?
Mm-hmm.
Did I make that up?
Yes.
No. Okay. So it'll all be linked for you guys. I will not get it wrong. It's already sent to me by her. So that'll be down there. Oh my gosh. So fun. Mel, thank you so much for like just shaking us up a little bit and bringing a whole different approach. Sometimes it's episodes like this that actually really click with some people. Like it's the one that makes all the difference for them because it's such a different application and they've heard kind of the same kinds of stories. Or, I mean, I know they're all different, but it's the ones that are a little different, that are just like down a whole different tangent that lights people up. I just got an email from somebody who I don't know if you listened to the guy who makes pipes, who makes Gandalf pipes.
Yes, I did actually.
Yeah, it was a good one. One gentleman emailed me and he's just like, this unlocked everything for me. He's like, I couldn't sleep last night. And I'm just like, yes, that's what. And so that's going to be you, Mel. I'm going to get emails and it's going to be fun. So thank you so much for being your introverted, brave self and coming on and in front of thousands of people to share. It's just been so much fun. Thank you. Thank you. And you guys, if you've been hanging out with us for the past hour, thank you for being with us. And I hope that you've taken away so many ideas and excitement and a little bit of Mel's brilliance because we don't see it every single day. So anything you want to add?
No, I just thank you so much for having me here. I've listened to your podcast. I binge watched it. I binge listened to it at the beginning of this year. And it's really been a really cool insight, just hearing people's stories and just where people are taking their businesses. It's inspirational.
Yeah. It's a special community. You guys are so awesome. So thanks, you guys. I love y'all. We love y'all. Until next week, go make something awesome. I'll talk to you soon. And that's a wrap on this episode of How to Sell Your Stuff on Etsy. Thanks so much for hanging out with me today. If you're looking for more resources, head on over to howtosellyourstuff.com, where you'll find podcast show notes, all the links from today's episode, the blog, courses, coaching, and more. If this episode was helpful to you, awesome. The greatest compliment I can receive from you is a rate, review, and subscribe on this podcast. Not only will it allow us to connect again on a future episode, it lets me know I'm providing you with value and helps other people find this content more easily. From the bottom of my heart, thank you for your support. Have a great day and see you next time.